Hello, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Talking Fitchburg on this Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. Jeremy Crosby here. Hope you had a wonderful day. Glad you're here with us today. Andrew back at home running the show as he always does, and we're glad to have him aboard and ready for a busy show. Yeah, we got a busy show for you today. Get you updated on the latest headlines, including another road closure. We'll tell you about that coming up here in just a little bit. Plus, we check in with our fire department, Fitchburg Fire Department, Adam Dorn. He'll be here. We'll be looking back at one of our fire safety packages. We call them packages, but videos that we have of talking about safety at home. Very important, especially as we've been at home more. There's been a lot more at-home fires. We'll talk everything about staying safe. Then we're taking a tour, folks. Grab your steins, grab your hat. I've got my hat somewhere over there, my beer drinking hat. And head on out to the Hop House. We're going to take a tour today. We'll give you the full version of that. There it is. Yeah, right here. My German Fest one. Just got this not too long ago. I don't know which way you wear. Oh, yeah, this way. Here we go. Kids have been playing with it. Yeah, so we're ready to hit the road to the Hop House. We'll introduce you to one of the co-owners, and it's a awesome place. And I can tell you, I'm going to have all of our staff meetings from here on out over there. Just kidding. Where am I? Andrew. All right, let's get rolling here. Better take the hat off and get into your headlines. And we start with Commerce Park Drive is closed this week, and we've got some video of that construction project. Due to the rain that was forecast last week, this project was supposed to be done already, but was pushed back to this week. So work will continue on Commerce Park Drive. The work is between McKee Road and Cottonwood. And as you can see, everything is torn up as they remove all the surface there and get this all prepped here to be resurfaced. Project again wraps up hopefully by Thursday, the 17th. So please plan accordingly. The traffic through there with that closure and the construction project of Verona Road and the McKee Road project up to Seminole does cause some backup. So please be aware of that when you pass through that corridor. All right, we got a road closure to tell you about, and it's going to be Irish Lane. It'll be south of Sain Road and County Highway MM. Irish Lane will be closed through traffic from September 21st through October 2nd. The closure date may change. There is a rain delay, and notifications will be sent out from September 21st to September 23rd. Irish Lane will be closed at the U.S. Highway 14 bridge. During these days, all emergency vehicles, residents, garbage collection, and mail delivery will be required to access properties east of U.S. Highway 14, County MM, to address properties west of U.S. Highway 14 from South Sain Road. The contractor will be replacing culverts and removing asphalt on Irish Lane under the U.S. Highway 14 bridge during this time. From September 4th to October 2nd, the road will be closed through traffic, and all local traffic will have access from either direction. So be on the lookout for that. We'll remind you as that project gets closer. All right, Fitchburg Farmers Market, as we turn into the fall season, they've got some of your fall favorites coming up. Yeah, offering fresh produce, pumpkins, apples, squash, baked goods, meats, lamb, goat, beef, if available by pre-order, honey, eggs, cheese, CBD products, salsa, seasoning, rubs, flowers, pepper plants. Ooh, love those. Love the pepper plants, right? Fresh flowers, soaps, lotions, fiber or organic options, gluten-free, and much, much more. Also, remember, you can do your box produce pre-order for just $25. You get like this whole box of a whole bunch of different cool stuff. Well, cool produce, I guess. And yeah, if you haven't done that already, you need to do so. They still have their walk-up option as well, 3 to 6 this Thursday. Remember to get your pre-order stuff in sooner than later. And I believe at this one, aren't they having I think they're having the bike group come out as well to help repair bikes. So either way, step on out there and say hi. Yeah, get outside, get some fresh air, and get some of your local produce. All right, slow down and move over, says the Dane County sheriffs and police agencies across Wisconsin. After a scary incident for Dane County Sheriff's Office, Beltline Bob, yesterday, we want to remind drivers to slow down and move over for emergency vehicles. At approximately 1:40 p.m. on Monday, September 14th, Deputy Eric, is it Novelty? Who works for the first shift freeway service truck position, was attempting to remove debris from the roadway when a truck was hit by another vehicle. Deputy Nova, again, is it Noventy? Yeah, was traveling eastbound on the Beltline in the far right lane near the Todd Drive exit. He was utilizing his emergency lights and the large digital sign on his service truck to warn other drivers to slow down and move over. As the deputy exited the truck, a driver traveling behind him attempted to go around him in the center lane and hit the driver's side door of the service truck. The deputy was forced to dive inside his truck to avoid being struck. He received minor injuries and was treated by EMS at the scene. Madison police responded to the crash and cited the male driver. The freeway service truck was inoperable and had to be towed from the scene. Wisconsin's move over law was established to help safeguard law enforcement officers, emergency responders, road maintenance workers, and others who work on the side of the highways, as Wisconsin has that move over law. So please, 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 you got to move over when you see those emergency vehicles and certainly slow down. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we talk with Adam Dorn at the Fitchburg Fire Department about home fire safety. That's next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
Behind every 2020 census taker's mask is a friendly neighbor. They're teachers, retirees, vets, people committed to doing right by getting the count right. If you haven't responded yet, they'll be stopping by to ask some simple questions that will inform how billions in federal funds are spent on local services every year for the next decade. So when they come knocking, say hi from a safe distance and do your part to support your community. Time is running out. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from Fitchburg Fire Rescue, it's Adam Dorn. I call him Dorn. Dorn, how you doing?
Great. How are you, Jeremy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for helping with the countdown into this segment.
Not a problem.
All I'm going to say. Dorn, today we're talking about fire safety at home. As more people are working from home now and being at home more, we've seen an uptick in fires, unfortunately, not only in Fitchburg, but across the state of Wisconsin and even the U.S. And today we're going to focus on some training at home, some safety tips at home. And you're like, well, you guys have already done this. Well, in some ways, yes, we have probably crisscrossed this many times. However, given the pandemic, we might not be totally thinking about fire safety. We might be thinking about other things going on, happening around us. So what a great time. I've told my staff this, that I've always talked about making a safety kit and never had done so. And I finally did it as the COVID-19 stuff was developing. I'd never built one before and put one together because I think it was a rude awakening with what had happened early on with trying to get stuff that you needed. And so I'm making sense here that pulling this all in together, making a plan is definitely the big piece, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, Adam, as we take a look at this safety plan at home, what can we include as part of that plan for fire safety?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeremy. Like you had said that, having a plan is the best plan. Having an idea of what you're going to do, that's the best way to make sure that you're going to be safe along with your family. So start off by evaluate your living situation and take that into consideration. Who lives in the house with you? What are their capabilities? What are their limitations? What can they help you with? That kind of stuff. And what do you need to help them with? Start there. And it's very important, especially now when kids are going to be at home again, uh, when they start their learning from home. Make sure that they have an idea of what their home fire safety plan is. We kind of got thrown into that in the first half of this year when school shut down and everybody was starting to learn from home. And we're just like, okay, we're doing this, but now it wasn't really thought of as far as what are we going to do? How does this work? Because they're normally not home during the day. So some things to think about that everybody in your household needs to know about your plan when it comes to fire safety, and they need to practice evacuating the home. They need to practice getting out, because if they don't practice it, they won't know what to do when the actual incident takes place.
Yeah, and Adam, would you recommend doing this at different times of the day when you're doing a practice? You always see funny videos of people doing this at the middle of the night to see if their kids will actually wake up with a smoke alarm. And surprisingly, that's always the case that they wake up. Some kids haven't even ever heard a smoke alarm in their house go off. So how do you practice that with the young ones?
Yeah, great question. Uh, the best thing I can suggest is to practice it throughout at all times of day or night. Give them that idea that it can happen at any time. Because if we only practice it at night or only practice it during the day, they won't know what it's going to be like some other time. Practice it when it's raining or snowing, and you got to go outside when it's whatever the conditions are. That's something that's hard to overcome at times, but it needs to be done. As far as how to practice waking up to that smoke alarm if you're sleeping at night, there's no real good way to do it, but if you have one, you can take the smoke detector and press the test button. That's the best way to do that. Make sure that they work. And if you do this once a month, you're actually taking two things out with one stone here, because you're not only testing your smoke alarms, you're also making sure you practice your escape every month. And when you do that, make sure that you have working batteries in your smoke detectors. That's one of the biggest things that we find in the fire service, is that the batteries either are not in the smoke detector or they're dead, right? They're just don't work. So make sure they know what they sound like. Make sure they know what to do when they go off.
Yeah, absolutely. Super important. I've done it once with my daughter, and I'm going to do it again here real soon with my son too, because he might actually hear the noise. At least he might wake up and cry or something to wake us up if it were to happen at night. The 2 ways out, knowing 2 ways out of every space, it should be included in your plan as well, and even with helping others to get out.
Right. Yeah. 2 ways out is very important, because if your main way to get out, or the way that you always use to get out, is blocked by smoke or fire or whatever it might be, you need to know right away what your second option is. And a lot of times people are very habitual, where they only go in and out of a store one way, or they only go in and out of their workplace one way, or their school one way, and they forget about the other places that they can go in or out of their house. It's the same thing. So make sure that you know 2 ways out. Make sure that you understand who needs the assistance to get out. Sometimes families with young children, they need assistance. The younger children need assistance to get out. Maybe they're still in the crib. Somebody needs to go get them to make sure that they are okay and they can get out. The other big thing is that once you're out, make sure you know where your meeting place is. That's a huge one. If you don't have a meeting place, you need to establish that and make it somewhere where people can see you, especially the firefighters that are coming to help. I always suggest out in front of the house somewhere close by. If it's not directly in front of the house, your house, maybe it's right next to it, like right next door or at the lot line, but somewhere where everybody can see that when we pull up, we know people are out. That's a huge one. And then once you're out, call for help. Don't worry about calling for help if you're inside and the smoke alarms are going off and you have smoke and all this other stuff. best thing you can do is get out first and then call for help.
Yeah, having the count on everybody to make sure that they are out, because that time would be dwindling really fast if you hadn't already. Yeah, the meeting place super important. I think that's something that since I've been and we've been doing these together, something that I feel like wasn't always part of the talk, but making that meeting place has become something super important. And yeah, make sure that your kids recognize that spot and try to get to that spot by themselves. I mean, hopefully it's not in the road, but within reason, doing that. I know we've ran a PSA for the longest time of a dad and two kids running to their meeting spot, and for a test they did it as a race. To get to the sidewalk, into that spot. So you can make it fun as well. And I like this ending part of this is celebrate the drill with the family by some type of celebration or something that solidifies the importance of doing this.
Absolutely. If you can make this fun, the children are going to remember this so much more than if, oh, we got to do this again, or whatever else it might come across as. But if you can make it fun and that everybody is participating, they will remember that and they'll ask about, hey, can we do this again? Or can we have this? And make those things a reward for doing a job well done. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Big deal there. And Doran, thank you so much for sharing the tips today. We appreciate it. I know it's something we've talked about, but nevertheless, always important to really, really think about that. And I will talk about this 1,000 times over. If just one person puts a plan together,
Yep.
So please do that. And if you have any questions, you can always contact Adam Doran. He's got great resources out there. And the website, too, has great resources. And sounds like you're doing some updating to it, too. So we'll watch for that. Doran, thank you so much for your time. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk real soon.
Thanks, Jeremy. Have a good day.
You as well. Adam Doran, Fitchburg Fire Rescue. Appreciate his time helping us educate you out there. And like I said, if you have any questions, give Doran a call. He will be happy to answer them, and tell him that Jeremy sent you. Then he knows that we're getting outreach here. All right, we'll take a quick break. You were watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It's now time to take a tour of the brand new Hop House right here in Fitchburg. Take a look.
I guess ultimately Hop House was kind of started in Colorado in a way. We moved out there in 2010 and things were kind of starting here as far as craft beer goes. New Glarus was obviously around, Ale Asylum, and Carbon 4 I think had just come to the scene, or maybe they just opened when we got back. I can't recall exactly, but anyways, it was just kind of starting here, and we were interested in it, but we got out to Colorado and it was everywhere. I mean, everyone was brewing, all of our friends, so that's kind of where Phil started learning how to brew, was out there. And then when we moved back, after we had our first son, we decided that opening a brewery was in our 5-year plan. So about 2.5 years after that is when we opened in Verona in 2015. And I mean, that's been amazing. We were kind of growing right from the start, getting more fermenters. Then we started doing distribution. So, once we kind of got that all figured out, I would say we started looking for a new place to expand to. Probably, let's see, if we opened in 15, by like 2017. And the funniest part is, this is exactly where I wanted to be. I mean, from day one, this is right where I wanted the bigger place to be. But there was just nothing for sale at that time over here. So we looked around at a bunch of different places and everything. And then almost 2 years later, we got a call from Ryan over at Race Day Events. And he said, hey, I've been talking to this builder and they've got this land and maybe we can split it because we don't need the whole thing. So we came over and looked at it and we're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is exactly where we want to be. So it just kind of took flight from there, and it's it's been amazing so far. We had so much support in Verona. It's been amazing. And still, I mean, everybody asks like, oh, how is Verona doing? I'm like, Verona's still over there just rocking it. So, I mean, it's awesome. We love that we can stay there and that everybody supports it, because I think the two places do have enough difference, both in vibes and stuff like that. There are things over at Verona that we have that we don't have here, and vice versa. So it's just kind of a, what are you in the mood for today type of thing. You know, everybody in Verona, like, we need more bathrooms. Do you have like, people want to rent out event spaces? I mean, not so much right now, but when we were in the planning stages, that was a big thing. You know, more of a full service food menu, things like that. So we kind of tried to address all of those issues, more outdoor space. So we kind of tried to address all of that when we were designing this facility, and I think it's worked out pretty well. So the space here, it's 10,000 square feet is the footprint of it. About half of that is the brewery at this point. So in Verona, we have a 3-barrel system, and here we have a 15-barrel system. So it's quite a bit bigger, and the fermenters are bigger, all of that. So that takes up about half of it. And then the rest of it is kind of split between like the kitchen dining area, the bar tap room area, and then there's the event space, which right now, with the capacity issues and stuff like that, we're just using that as kind of an expanded dining room, just to be able to fit more people in at this point, because no one's really looking for events either. So that actually worked out pretty well given the circumstances. And then there's this rooftop patio up here, which it's crazy to look around. It doesn't feel like it, but this is almost as big as our whole Verona tap room. Yeah, which is crazy. Verona's laid out differently, obviously more long and narrow than this, but yeah, this is almost the same space as Verona. So it's quite a bit bigger, full kitchen. You know, there's a bar downstairs if you want to sit at the bar, again, with numbers, blah, blah. But yeah, so it's got a lot more open space for people to be in, more outside. So yeah. Well, it's funny because one of the things that was really important to us about opening in Fitchburg was that we could have a full liquor license. Because, you know, there are just people that they just don't come to the Verona location because they like liquor, and we don't have liquor there. So we do have a full liquor license here. We have wine, beer, all of it. And so I really thought that there would be a lot more liquor sold initially, but I mean, really, like, beer is crushing it, which is awesome. I mean, that's great that, you know, that's what we do. So that I've been really pleasantly surprised with that, but we do have it just in case. But I think, you know, we've always been about community and wanting people to have a place where they can go and just be with friends, meet their family, things like that. And even in the weird times that we're in, I think people are still finding ways to do that safely, with distancing and masks and all that. But we just want people to be able to come here, have a good time, maybe have a bite to eat, have a couple drinks, and just enjoy their time while they're here. So I mean, if you're sitting at the bar, right, you can see where they actually do the brewing on those 3 tanks, and then you see a bunch of the fermenters there right in front. So just really quickly, they do a brew day. It's about 6-7 hours, and then everything goes into the fermenter. That's when you put the yeast in, and the yeast is what sits there for another 8 to 10, 12 days, and that's what makes the alcohol, right, in the product. So then you take it out of that, and you can either keg it or can it, which is another thing that we have here that we didn't have at Verona, is the canning line. So that's pretty exciting that we get to have everything in-house here. It all comes out of Fitchburg, so that's another really exciting thing. But yeah, so the brewery it's pretty impressive when you're sitting down there at the bar and there's these huge stainless steel tanks. It's just kind of overwhelming, but that's what we wanted. We wanted people to be able to see that and feel like they're really at the brewery. So right now, still the hashtag hazy is a huge seller, which is fantastic. That's the first hazy that we ever brought out about, I'd say probably a year and a half ago at this point. And that one people just love. It's a fantastic beer. Right now we've got the Let's Fest on, which is Oktoberfest. So given that it's September, that's a perfect time of year for that. So people are enjoying that one. And then another brand new one that we have is called Where's My Boomerang? And it's a double IPA. And that one is, if you like IPAs, I mean, that one is like, wow, it's amazing. people just love it. So, we always try to have kind of an array for people. Obviously, we're called Hop House. We do enjoy the hops. We do like the IPAs, but we've got other beers on. We've got a blonde ale. We've got a Scotch ale. The Oktoberfest. We try to kind of have a little something for everybody is kind of the goal. So there's once we get hashtag out in the market, that'll be kind of the 5th core brand that they call it. So it's the Plaid Panther Scotch Ale, Magic Dragon Double IPA, the Hidden Stash IPA, Sweet Sunglasses Blonde Ale, and then once hashtag gets out in the market, that'll be the Hazy IPA. That'll be the 5th staple, so that you can get those year round. Right now you can't really get any of them in packaging because with all the kind of glitches of the canning and everything, that's all really low, but hopefully this week we're canning and then it'll get back out there pretty soon. But yeah, those are the 5 staples that you can kind of always find here in Verona out in the marketplace. I think just the ability to have, it's certainly a much larger system than what we have in Verona, but it's smaller than what we were brewing on when we were distributing, when Octopi was brewing everything. They had 50 barrels. So when you're doing that much at a time and kind of working with their schedule, it's hard if something starts to run out and you didn't, realize it, or all of a sudden there was a run on it for who knows why. And then to kind of catch up with that, it's really difficult when you're working with someone else's schedule. Whereas here, if the distributor calls us and they're like, hey man, people are ripping through Magic Dragon right now, we are really gonna need more than we thought of that, we can move our schedule around a lot easier to get that started. And then, it's about 2 weeks out instead of saying, well, they couldn't get us on the schedule for 2 months, so we're looking at 3 months until you can really have product. So that'll be a really nice thing to have, just a fresher product, everything like that. So we're really looking forward to just having that flexibility of just trying to keep up with the market demands and keep everything as fresh as it can be. Yes, it's been great. I mean, people in Fitchburg are really excited. We've had some smaller groups kind of from the businesses around here, Sub-Zero, Pro Mega, those kind of places, people from the city. There's a couple neighborhoods right across the street here. We see people kind of walking back and forth all the time. So it's just really nice. We feel really appreciated, and we're just really excited to be in Fitchburg because I think they're really excited to have us. So that's always a really great feeling to have. So we're just genuinely excited to be here and excited that the people of Fitchburg are excited as well. Right now we've got lunch every day. We open at 11 every day except Monday. Monday we open at 4 just for dinner service. Eventually, we're planning on starting like a brunch on Saturday and Sunday. We've got to get the kitchen a little bit more fine-tuned first, and we didn't want to overwhelm it and everything. Plus, with the way things are right now, with the churches aren't really open all the time, so stuff like that. But yeah, eventually, more stuff coming. We're trying to run some specials and things like that through the kitchen, and they're doing a great job. Of just coming up with new and exciting flavors, and everybody's been really happy with the menu so far. So yeah, we're just excited to keep it going and see where it takes us.
There you have it. You'll catch me up on the patio every day. No, I was kidding. You got to get out there and check it out. It's a real cool place and a lot of tasty beers on hand. Take a quick break, wrap up the show next. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
All right, wrapping up the show. I want to thank the Hop House for inviting us over. We'll be coming over real soon. Have a great day, everybody. Stay connected with us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for the TF Update.
Thank you.